welcome back, and thank you for joining me for What is Taylin Watching? Grab some popcorn, whatever snack you're into at the moment, and come join me while I talk about all the shows that I've currently watched, finished watching, or watching right now, and my thoughts on them. Let's get started. Okay, starting off strong, we have The Bear. I actually held off on season 2. I watched the first episode of season 2 when it dropped, but then I got a little bit anxious, and so I saved it for the next time I was going to retime my hair, and it worked out perfectly for me because then season 3 dropped, and so I was able to watch all of season 2 and then pick up on season 3 and just continue on. So I got to see the shift in like styles that they were doing. I did season 2 was so chaotic that like the Bear is already very, very intense and crazy. Like you're really in the kitchen, like you're really in the fire, you're in all of it. So you're kind of used to that. Season 2 was the reason why it's so hectic and crazy. Season 3 was really sweet. I thought that it was more like an ode to these personal journeys. We got a lot more insight on other characters that weren't really highlighted in the other seasons. Like we knew of them, but not their backstories. Next, we have The Boys, which is on there. I think this is the 4th season, and they're going to have 5 seasons. Gen V has its 2nd season. I'm actually really excited for Gen V. I thought the setting being at college was a really fresh take. Usually things are set in high school, and so I'm really glad that we're leaning more towards the college experience. And I think the characters were really fresh and dynamic, and the chemistry is really great. And I love seeing Jess Sinclair in anything that she does. The Boys season, this time around, it fell flat for me. I had to be really honest. I think this story is just a little tired. I think we keep circling around the same thing with no resolution. And this goes into another thing that I see a phenomenon of, where it's like, oh, we'll just get another season, we'll patch things up, or we'll continue on in the next season. Sometimes you don't get another season, and then if you do, it's kind of, I just feel like shows should be able to stand on their own. That's all I'm gonna say. I am excited to see it wrap up. It's still raunchy, it's still dark, it's still gruesome, which is on brand for its satirical nature. Like it's supposed to be that. It is a criticism on our current climate. But I also feel like nothing new is being added to the story. We did see some new characters this new season. I was excited to see them. They were cool. I just feel like when we do get new characters and they are added, they get snubbed, or there isn't enough development to see how far they go. And that's something that I wish was more focused on. Like this is a show, I feel like it's less character driven and more plot driven, but I want to see more of the characters. And I think that's why I gravitated more towards Gen V. Next, we have My Lady Jane, which, if you've already heard the news, it has been canceled after season 1. I'm so devastated about that. I can't stress enough how upsetting it is when a show that is, hits all the marks, is fantasy, is romantic, is dreamy, fulfills that need that I think as a society we have kind of stepped over. They didn't give it enough space to grow, to reach its target audience before they pulled the plug. My first initial thoughts, the first episode was very slow. That's normal for some pilots. That's like something you just have to put out of your mind and just keep going. A lot of the premise and the shots reminded me of Ella Enchanted, Anne Hathaway's Ella Enchanted. I loved how they utilized the old school transitions between shots. I loved the cheeky narration. One thing I will say that I'm not the biggest fan of is fantasy or fantastical racism. I think it always kind of rubs me the wrong way, but that is really common for fantasy as a genre. I also found out later that it was a book series, so now that it's canceled, I definitely feel like I'm gonna just hop on over and get it from my library and start reading it. It hit a lot of things that I really enjoy: court intrigue, fantasy realm, power dynamics, power struggles, romance, obviously. Who are you talking to? I'm a romance girly. I love the show, and I finished it in 2 days. For my fans of The Cruel Prince, The CW's Reign, Marriage of Convenience, literally anything that has to do with daggers, sword fighting, I don't know, any of that, I feel like you definitely won't be disappointed in this show, so give it a chance. Go stream the one and only season of My Lady Jane on Amazon Prime. If we're speaking on the note of shows that have been canceled, I have to bring up Acolyte, which is a Disney Plus Star Wars extension. They canceled it after 1 season. What a disappointment. It wasn't given enough time. And I the things I think they did really well in the show was it dealt with a lot of sociology, which I really liked. Um, and with a lot of space travel, time travel, there is this idea of don't touch anything. Like leave that planet alone. And this put a magnifying glass onto what happens, negative and positive, what happens when you interfere with things you have no business being involved in. I also really enjoyed having a black main female character, and we don't get enough of those in this realm, this fantasy genre. So that was really cool to experience. And the chemistry between all of the characters was so good. Just so unfortunate that it wasn't given another chance or like a full chance, you know? We have Abbott Elementary, which I finished this a while ago. I think they're coming out with another season. I hope so. But there's one episode in particular that I really just tugged on my heartstrings, and that one was about it had deaf representation in it and just how to get accommodations um, for a particular student who was deaf. Just really enjoyed how it was handled, how it was talked about. Nowhere in there did it feel like, you know, the student was a burden. And if it did feel like that if it did go in that direction, it was corrected very quickly, and I liked that a lot. For sure, one of my favorite episodes of the season. So I'm really excited for it to continue. I can definitely see this show being one that is on forever, like a 20 seasoned series. Like I'm thinking like Friends, Living Single, Girlfriends, anything in that vein. I can definitely see this continuing on, like Modern Family, that kind of humor. Next we have House of the Dragon. First, can I just say it should be a crime for everybody on that cast to be as hot as they are? Are you kidding me? Their face cards just never decline, and I just, what is the secret? What is the secret? I need to know. I need to know. Unfortunately, I did not like the pacing of this season. I think if you go from season one, the ending of season one, you're expecting this gusto. And so when we open in season two, we're not there. It just kind of reverted back. And so I just feel like this season was boring. Boring in the sense that I was expecting the energy that we got from the ending of season one. And that's not what happened. We didn't get that. Or they try to describe it in the show, like the reasoning behind the hesitation. Personally, I just want to see rage. Rage out, crash out, do it right now. A lot of this also goes into my disdain for 8, 9, 10 episode seasons. I really think as a collective, we deserve like at least a solid 13, 14, 20. I'm just, don't hate me, don't hate the messenger. I just feel like when you have that many episodes, you're able to break down character, you know, dry, like why are they doing this? What is the problem? What are we striving for? And so when it's cut down so short, we end up being stuck with one character who, mind you, is important. I'm not saying that this character is not important, but they're like having a Groundhog Day moment. Like every day is the same. I want to get back to the court intrigue that's going on in a, like on another island. Let's move over there. It felt like after every episode, I was like, we wasted so much time. Like that was 40 minutes of being stuck in Harrenhal. I would like to see more things of substance. That's all. There is going to be a season 3. It's already been announced. I am excited to watch that one, and just see where it goes. I mean, I already know how things go and how they end, but since they kind of strayed away, what I've heard, what they kind of strayed away from the books, I'm excited to see how they implement new changes. So I'm looking forward to season 3. The newest season of Bridgerton, I was, like a lot of people, I was very disappointed in it. And not because I'm not a fan of Friends to Lovers. That I knew going in. You know, when you start Bridgerton, you it's obvious how much Penelope is in love with Colin. You know that, and they were friends for forever. I just feel like I think it has a new director. The new director didn't handle Penelope's story with care. Like I don't feel like she cared about Penelope's story enough to really give that love story a chance. Um, I think definitely the focus being so heavily on Francesca, it's so obvious why. And I'm disappointed in it because I feel the love story that she got was not one that felt catered to her. It just didn't feel like those love proposals that the previous seasons were doing, or what, Queen Charlotte did. It didn't feel like, it didn't feel magical. And that's what they're selling you. They're selling you the fantasy of Bridgerton. And this one did not hit at all. Which is so disappointing because Penelope is so beautiful and Colin is, you could tell he's in love with her. I just feel like it wasn't executed right. Um, so that was a major bummer. But it's circling back to My Lady Jane really did fill in the hole, the Bridgerton sized hole I had. And it came at the perfect time. So I just had to say that. Just had to put that in there. Then, saving the best for last, Anne Rice's Interview with the Vampire from AMC Plus. I swear I feel like I'm just doing advertising for AMC Plus at this point. I cannot shut up about Interview with the Vampire. I'm like in the trenches. Do you hear me? In the trenches. Vampires are so back. We're so back, baby. We're so back. I think this season 2 was such a good ode or testament to memory and unreliable narrators. I really really enjoyed how they handled Claudia. um this is a spoiler, but I did really enjoy how they handled the actress changes. I think it actually leaned into the narrative. I really enjoyed that. Wow, I just can't. Woo, it's so good. And I'm so happy that season 3 is already announced. I cannot wait to see the Vampire Lestat like just go crazy and be a rock star. I just have no I really have no words for it because it was just that good. The justification behind, changing the race of these characters. I really enjoyed it. I really, really did. If you're a vampire lover, if you like Anne Rice, if you've read her things, if you've seen season 1, season 2, please continue. It's so good. I love Daniel. Oh my god, like literally every single character, I'm like, I love you. You did that. You did your big one. Yeah, so go stream Interview with the Vampire. Right now it's on Netflix. I started The Mayfair Witches, which is an Anne Rice adaptation, and that has Alexandra Daddario in it. If you are familiar with Percy Jackson, she was Annabeth Chase. I wouldn't necessarily call that show boring. Season 2 is already, it's coming. It's gonna drop in 2025. I wouldn't necessarily call the show boring. I would say that some moments were very, very slow. Very, very slow. But I was intrigued. It takes place in New Orleans. It is about witches, like the title suggests. And just family dynamics. There's secrets. There's, hidden magic. There's this big, bad evil. But yes, I will say the pace, like if you're looking for a show that feels like Interview with the Vampire, like in that same universe, because they do take place in the same universe, Anne Rice's Mayfair Witches may not be the same vibe. That's all I'll say. I did enjoy it. I do want to see season 2. There were some moments in this season 1 where I was like, oh, oh. And that's specifically over a certain character. When you watch it and you report back, you'll know which one I'm talking about. My TT Tracy recommended me a show called From, and that show is scary as hell. Oh my god! And it has 3 seasons. I finished season 1. I'm about to start season 2, and it's basically if you were to mix it's from the producers of Lost, but if you were to mix Lost, there's a show called La Brea, and there's also a show called Under the Dome. If you kind of mixed and melded all of those with American Horror Story Roanoke, if you were to mix all that in a machine, it would spit out the show From. Something about that show, be careful if you're watching it at nighttime, because I swear I had to I was in the living room watching it, and then I was like, oh, I really want to go to bed. I really just want to be in my own room. I had to turn it off, pause it, grab my iPad, run to my room, close my door, get under the covers first, make sure my feet were covered, and then press play. So that kind of wraps up everything I think I've been watching. Let me know what you think. If you do end up watching them, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Thank you for watching.